Hello students, this is Krushali Mandre. In previous session, we had seen various factors affecting enzyme activity. In today's session, we'll see enzyme inhibition. So what is enzyme inhibition? Enzyme inhibition is nothing but decrease in catalytic activity of enzyme or lower down the rate of enzyme reaction. There are certain substances which lower down the rate of enzymatic reaction, or these substances which binds with the enzyme and brings about a decrease in catalytic activity of that enzyme. These substances are called as enzyme inhibitors. This inhibitor may be organic or inorganic in nature. They produce their effect by acting on coenzyme, apoenzyme, or prosthetic group. The enzyme inhibition may be classified into various classes. So first is reversible inhibition, second is irreversible inhibition, and third is allosteric inhibition. So we'll see these types one by one. So first is reversible inhibition. In this type of inhibition, the inhibitor binds covalently with enzyme. And this type of enzyme inhibition can be reversed if we remove the inhibitor. The reversible inhibitor is further subdivided into three types. First, competitive inhibition, non-competitive inhibition, and mixed inhibition. So we'll see these three types one by one. So first is competitive inhibition. This inhibition is a reversible type of enzyme inhibition. The inhibitor I is closely resembles the real substrate. So here this is competitive inhibitor I and the substrate S. Here these two, inhibitor and substrate, are somewhat structurally similar to each other. The inhibitor competes with the substrate at the binding site, that is active site of enzyme. This is active site of enzyme, and that's why enzyme does not undergo any catalysis. So see here, the normal enzymatic reaction is enzyme binds with the substrate and enzyme substrate complex is formed. Then this complex dissociate and product P is formed and enzyme is released, and which is again reused for another catalytic reaction. And when here the inhibitor comes into picture, then enzyme instead of substrate binds with the inhibitor and enzyme inhibitor complex is formed, and further the catalytic activity of enzyme is decreased. So see here, during this reaction enzyme substrate and enzyme inhibitor complex is formed. Example of competitive inhibition is, see here, succinic acid. This is structure of succinic acid. It is a real substrate, and it is a substrate for succinate dehydrogenase enzyme. And here this malonic acid or glutaric acid or oxalic acid, which are structurally somewhat similar to succinic acid, which act as a competitive inhibitor for this succinate dehydrogenase enzyme. The relative concentration of substrate and inhibitor and their respective affinity with the enzyme determines the degree of competitive inhibition. That is, concentration of substrate or inhibitor determines the degree of competitive inhibition. This inhibition could be overcome by high substrate concentration. In competitive inhibition, Km value increases while Vmax remains unchanged. So when there is a competitive inhibition occur and we plot the graph of maximum velocity versus substrate concentration, or reciprocal of velocity versus reciprocal of substrate concentration, that is the substrate saturation curve or Lineweaver-Burke plot. So in case of enzyme inhibition, red line indicates in both cases the enzyme inhibition, and this is enzyme substrate complex. Blue line indicates the enzyme substrate complex. So if there is an enzyme inhibition occurs, so there is the Km, that is Michaeli Menten constant value, is increased. But the Vmax, that is maximum velocity, remains unchanged. So see here also, when there is a enzyme inhibition is there, the Km value is increased. Okay, so this is the effect of competitive inhibition on Km value and Vmax. So this is again another example of competitive inhibition. So when there is a methanol poisoning occurs, at that time the enzyme alcohol dehydrogenase converts this methanol to formaldehyde, which is damaging to many tissues. So at that time, ethanol acts as a competitive inhibitor. It competes effectively with methanol as an alternative substrate for alcohol dehydrogenase, and this slow down the formation of formaldehyde, lessening the danger while the kidney filter out the methanol and it is harmlessly excreted through the urine. So in this way, during the methanol poisoning, for the enzyme alcohol dehydrogenase, ethanol act as a competitive inhibitor. So these are certain examples of competitive inhibitors and the enzymes to which it inhibits. So this is first example is xanthine oxidase. This enzyme, it is inhibited by the inhibitor alpurinol in when there is a real substrate is hypoxanthine or xanthine. Then ephedrine and amphetamine act as an inhibitor for monoamine oxidase when the real substrate are catecholamines, that is epinephrine or norepinephrine. So likewise, these are the inhibitors, and these inhibitors competitively inhibits these enzymes in presence of this substrate. Then second type of inhibition is non-competitive inhibition. This non-competitive inhibition, it is also called as uncompetitive inhibition. This is again reversible type of inhibition. The inhibitor binds at the active site. Inhibitor binds at the site other than active site on the enzyme surface, and this binding impairs the enzyme function. See, this is the enzyme, this is active site of enzyme, and this is other site of enzyme other than active site. So here this substrate and inhibitor, these are not structurally similar. Here this inhibitor binds with the enzyme at other site, and because of the binding of inhibitor at other site, there are conformational changes occur in the enzyme structure of enzyme. So that's why sometime here the enzyme substrate complex may form, but because of some conformational changes in enzyme, the further catalytic activity of the enzyme is not occur. So see here, the enzyme substrate complex is formed, but if the inhibitor is there, enzyme inhibitor complex is formed, the further catalytic activity of enzyme is prevented. But sometime the enzyme substrate complex is formed, still inhibitor binds, because here binding occurs at other sites. So also this inhibitor binds at to the enzyme substrate complex, and that's why the further activity of catalytic activity of enzyme is prevented. Okay, so that's why here in this type of inhibition, the enzyme, the substrate binds, means when there is enzyme substrate complex is formed and a single enzyme is there, the inhibitor binds to enzyme also and enzyme substrate complex also. So example is heavy metal ions like arginine, lead, mercury. This can be non-covalent, non-competitively inhibit the enzyme by binding with cysteine sulfhydryl groups. So this is the general reaction for mercury ion. So this is enzyme substrate complex. This metal ion, mercury ion, non-competitively bind with this enzyme substrate complex, and that's why the catalytic activity of enzyme is decreased. Here, in case of non-competitive inhibition, the Km value is unchanged while Vmax is lowered. That is, Michaeli maintained constant value is unchanged. It remains constant, but Vmax is lowered. See, Here in double substrate saturation curve, when there is an inhibition occur, enzyme inhibition occur, then the Pmax is lowered, but the Km value remains unchanged. See in this double reciprocal plot also, here when there is an inhibition, the Vmax is lowered. Vmax is lowered, but the Km value remains unchanged. Heavy metals, as we seen, the heavy metals act as a non-competitive inhibitor, but sometimes this heavy metal form the covalent bond with the carboxylic group and histidine, and they may get converted into the irreversible inhibition. Then third type is mixed inhibition. So mixed inhibitors binds at the site distinct from the substrate active site, but it binds to either enzyme or enzyme substrate complex. So these inhibitors bind at the site other than the active site. So this is the enzyme. So here normally the enzyme substrate complex is formed. This inhibitor binds at the enzyme at site other than the active site, and it also binds to enzyme substrate complex site other than the active site or substrate binding sites. So in this type of inhibition, both Km value and Vmax get affected. So here there is a change in the Km value also and Vmax also on the enzyme inhibition occur. Then second type of enzyme inhibition is irreversible inhibition. So irreversible inhibitors are those substances which bind covalently with or they destroy a functional group on an enzyme that is essential for the enzyme's activity, or those that form a particularly stable non-covalent association. So these are the substances. In short, these are the substances that binds covalently with the enzymes and inactivates the enzyme. And this inactivation of enzyme or this binding of enzyme inhibitor is irreversible. So that's why this type of inhibition is called as irreversible inhibition. These inhibitors are usually toxic substances that poison the enzyme. And again, there is a one special class of irreversible inhibitor is suicide inhibitors, or these are also called as suicide inactivators. We'll see the suicide inactivators or suicide inhibitors in next slide. So these are some examples of irreversible inhibitors. So first is the substance diisopropyl fluorophosphate, DIFP. It acts irreversibly on the enzyme chymotrypsin and inhibit this enzyme. And this diisopropyl fluorophosphate, it binds at the active site of the chymotrypsin where there is a serine 195 residue is there, and it inhibits the enzyme chymotrypsin. Then substance iodoacetate, it is an irreversible inhibitor of the enzymes like papain and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. This iodoacetate combined with sulfhydryl groups at the active site of these enzymes and makes them inactive. These are again more examples of irreversible inhibition. So substance malathion, which is organophosphorus insecticide, and it is toxic to animals as they block the activity of the acetylcholine esterase. That is, this malathion inhibit the enzyme acetylcholine esterase, and this enzyme is essential for nerve conduction. So because of the inhibition of this acetylcholine esterase, there is a paralysis of vital body functions occur. Then another substance is disulfiram, which is used in the treatment of alcoholism, and it acts irreversibly and inhibit the enzyme aldehyde dehydrogenase. Again, next is penicillin antibiotics. It inhibits the enzyme serine inhibit the serine containing enzymes and block a bacterial cell wall synthesis. Then cyanide inhibit the cytochrome oxidase, and the cytochrome oxidase, it is the enzyme which is required in the electron transport chain. Then fluoride inhibit the enolase, the enzyme which is present in the glycolysis and thereby inhibit the glycolysis. Then suicide inhibition. Suicide inhibition is a specialized form of irreversible inhibition. So suicide inhibitors are also called as suicide inactivators. In this case, the original inhibitor, that is structural analog or competitive inhibitor, is converted to more potent form by the same enzyme that ought to be inhibited. So the form inhibitor binds irreversibly with the enzyme. This is in contrast to original inhibitor which binds reversibly. So these compounds are relatively unreactive until they bind to the active site of specific enzyme. That is, the suicide inactivators undergo the first few chemical steps of normal enzymatic reaction, but instead of being transformed into the normal product, this inactivator is converted to very reactive compound that combines irreversibly with enzyme. So that means here the original inhibitor get converted to another more potent compound, and this compound inhibits the enzyme. So this is called as, that's why these are called as suicide inhibitors or suicide inactivators. These compounds are also called as mechanism based inactivators because they hijack the normal enzyme reaction mechanism to inactivate the enzyme. The good example of suicide inhibition is alpurinol. This alpurinol is used in the treatment of gout. Alpurinol is an inhibitor of xanthine oxidase, and this alpurinol get converted to alloxanthine, and which is more effective inhibitor of this enzyme than alpurinol. Then the use of certain purine and pyrimidine analogs in cancer therapy, it is explained on the basis of suicide inhibition. Example is 5-fluorouracil get converted to fluorodeoxyuridylate, which inhibits the enzyme thymidylate synthase, and thus it inhibits the nucleotide synthesis. So these are two examples of suicide inhibitors or suicide inhibition. Then third type of enzyme inhibition is allosteric inhibition. So what is allosteric inhibition? So there are some enzymes which possess the additional site. This site is known as allosteric site. In Greek, allo means other. So allosteric site is other site than active site. That is allosteric site besides the active site. Such enzymes are known as allosteric enzymes. So the enzymes which possess additional site other than active site, these enzymes are called as allosteric enzymes. The allosteric sites are unique places on the enzyme molecule. So there are again certain substances which are called as allosteric effectors. Certain substances referred to as allosteric modulators, effectors, or modifiers. This binds at the allosteric site and regulate the enzyme activity. When the enzyme activity is increased, when the enzyme activity is increased, when a positive allosteric effector binds at the allosteric site, and this is known as activator site. On the other hand, when a negative allosteric effector binds at the allosteric site called the inhibitor site, and this inhibits the enzyme activity. It means allosteric inhibition occurs when negative allosteric effector binds at the allosteric site. This is also called as inhibitor site. Most of the allosteric enzymes are oligomeric in nature. The subunits may be identical or different. The non-covalent reversible binding of this effector molecule at allosteric site brings about the conformational changes in the active site of enzyme, and this leading to the inhibition or activation of enzymatic activity or catalytic activity of enzyme. So see here, one model is given. So allosteric enzyme generally exists in two conformational states. One is T state and another is R state. T state means tense or taut state and R state is relaxed state. And these T and R states are in equilibrium. See, here this A figure indicates the T form, B figure indicates the R form, that is relaxed form of allosteric enzymes, then C figure indicates the effect of allosteric inhibition, and D form indicates the effect of allosteric activators. So here, when there is allosteric inhibition occur, this allosteric inhibitor favors the T state, whereas activators and substrate favors the R state. So see here, allosteric activator or substrate favors the R state, while allosteric inhibitor favors the T state. The substrate can bind only with the R form of the enzyme. The concentration of enzyme molecule in R state increases as more substrate is added, and therefore the binding of substrate to the allosteric enzyme is said to be cooperative. That is, when the substrate bind at allosteric site, then it is the increase in the activity of enzyme. Allosteric enzymes give a sigmoidal curve instead of hyperbola. See, when we plot the graph of velocity versus the substrate concentration, so normally there is a hyperbola obtained, but when there is a allosteric enzyme allosteric enzyme binding occur, at that time sigmoid curve is formed. So these are the examples of allosteric inhibitors and allosteric activators. So here we are dealing with the allosteric inhibition. So we'll see the examples of allosteric inhibitors. So glucose 6-phosphatase, it is allosteric inhibitor of the enzyme hexokinase. Then ATP act as a inhibitor for phosphofructokinase and isocitrate dehydrogenase. Then AMP act as a allosteric inhibitor for fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Then palmitate act as an inhibitor for acetyl coenzyme A carboxylase. So this is about three types of enzyme inhibition, that is reversible inhibition, irreversible inhibition and allosteric inhibition. So I think this is enough for today. So we'll see next point, that is mechanism of action of enzyme, in next session. Thank you.